Chapter 33, Plum. Oh, what can I say of what came next? Z was never someone I would consider warm or particularly nurturing, but I suppose you only truly learn how giving one's nature is when the moment is forced upon them. Certainly, the way we came to one another was so strange and unorthodox, it's not as though I waited to discover her true nature before making a decision that would brand us together for eternity. I had no model, anyway, for what the gaze of love looked like. Looking back now, I realize that a piece of my heart died when Ko left me. In my mind, she deserted me to die, knowing I would be on the streets alone, deserted to the dangerous whims of nature and men. I wonder still, did she find someone else to hold her secrets? Or did she let that part of her die along with us, hidden in the rustling wind that gossiped with the trees we exploited for our shelter? It was too painful to think about. I had enough pain to occupy my mind with. I thought Z would care for me the further along in pregnancy I became. That, at some point, while I spent day and night in bed, my legs and head elevated by pillows, my large, misshapen belly casting frightening oblong shadows on the wall, Z would nourish me with her mother's Indonesian recipes she spoke of at length when she was in a nostalgic mood, or rub my belly with tiger balm when I became itchy and marked with discomfort. That, even though this child was not meant to be ours, she would place her smooth palm against my skin as the child kicked a stampede into the lining of my stomach and smile at me the way I had seen couples smile at one another in the movies. No hand graced my belly when it kicked. No tray of food was left waiting for me while I slept. No smile. If any change arose in the creator of the growing thing incubating inside of me, it was that Z spent even more time away from us. I didn't know what experiment she was investigating at all hours of the night, what question she was desperate to answer, but the longer the hours of nothingness and silence in the apartment continued, the more frightened I became of what was to follow. I could feel the child preparing its exit, and although I found pregnancy scary and lonely and disconcerting and incredibly uncomfortable, I felt something else grow, a protectiveness over my belly, which now teemed with little life, but one that loomed large. As long as the creation within me stayed inside, I could keep it safe, not only from Ash, who felt wild and untenable, but also from Z, whose rage and grief seemed a terrifying combination. I also knew as long as the infant could stay within my depths, I too could manage to stay alive on its behalf. At least, I took Hannah's surviving through to the end of pregnancy as a good sign for my own livelihood. I knew this was ultimately a foolish wish, a reckless desire. I knew that human life required the air outside of skin and fluid and nutrients beyond the parasitic pairing of gestational consumption. If only I had a partner that could soothe me out of such paranoias. Z was no such partner. I was alone, preparing to birth a child I had no claim over. I was just a vessel to serve a purpose. After the half-Hannah, half-Z creature was born, it's not as though I could go back to working at the lab. Where would I go then? Just like Ash, I was floating through the world, desperate to find a ground to root myself to. And then I had an idea. I knew just when and how to execute it.